Well, howdy, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. To home theater PC or to not home theater PC? That is the question for thee. Yeah, so, man, oh man, 10 years ago I was really into home theater PCs. I was running Windows Media Center to do all of our videos. You know, we rip our DVDs and our Blu-rays and our music, and we have our family photos all on server. I've had it that way forever since pretty much we've lived here at this house. And up to Media Center, Windows Media Center PC, it was easy to do. You just put it onto Windows 7 had it built in. You put it onto a hefty enough computer, and bing bang boom, you could play all your videos and have everything in one spot. And then all of a sudden everything changed, and everybody went from having home theater PCs to having Xboxes, or to having PS3s, or to having Rokus, or to having Chromecast or Apple TV. And suddenly the way things were done has changed, and for the better in some cases. But I'm still a home theater PC kind of guy. I like having the power of the computer to run my stuff. Now, right now I'm currently using Roku devices all over the house, and I've got an Nvidia Shield. In fact, I'm going to do a video on that. I've had it over a year. I've just never done I've never found a need to do a complete video on it. It's a video player just like the Roku is. But here lately I've been watching a lot of other stuff off of YouTube. I've been running stuff on BitChute, stuff on Odyssey. As a lot of content creators are moving their stuff off of YouTube, I've been wanting to go with them. And frankly, I want to be able to bring up a web browser on my home theater setup. I don't mind having a keyboard to use and a mouse, and because I just like the power that a home theater PC gives me. So that's what this video is about today, is why I built a home theater PC, what I built it out of parts-wise, and how I use it in my living room. Now, a home theater PC is kind of an antiquated concept because most people are, like I say, they're using the devices, the Rokus, the Apple TVs, the Nvidia Shields, the streaming devices, and most people are not interested in at all in having a PC in their living room and having to use a keyboard and a mouse on it. I'm the exception to that rule. Even my spouse doesn't like the idea of a home theater PC. But I do, and the reasons are many. I like being able to browse the internet with a regular web browser. I like being able to look at my surveillance footage. I like being able to run services like Twitch and DLive. I like being able to go out and see Odyssey videos on Odyssey and BitChute, as a lot of creators I watch are moving off of YouTube. It just gives you a whole lot more flexibility. Now, I've had that H97 Wi-Fi gigabyte motherboard I've had for years. It's been a Synology NAS. It's been this. It's been that. And it's got an i5 processor on it. It's a little bitty mini ITX board, as you've seen me play with it so many times. So I decided I'm going to build a home theater PC out of it. It's got built-in video on that i5 processor. It should be able to handle 1080p and maybe even 4K video. So let's go look and see how I built that machine. Now, of course, the first choice I had to make was on the type of case I was going to use. And I decided to go with this case here. It's a Silverstone. Let's see, it's the model ML04 entry-level home theater benchmark, a PC benchmark. And this little 2U size case was expensive. It's over $100. It was about $109. But it comes, it's a nice case. It's got a little cross member here at the top to reinforce it, to keep it from, bending or twisting. It's got your obligatory user manual, all the cables you need to hook everything up, USB 3, USB 2, your power LED power switch. It's got a little filter to go on the bottom for your power supply if you draw the air in from the bottom. You are kind of limited on the size of like a video card you could put in here, but it's got a full back plane for you. It has a nice brushed aluminum front on it, and or aluminum like. I would say it's more plastic than aluminum. It's got a lot of room inside. You've even got a 5 1/4 inch drive bay tray, so if you've got a DVD or a Blu-ray drive that's going to fit in there, you can do it. And then you also have a mounting bracket for a 2.5 inch SATA drive or serial ATA drive. It comes with some wire ties. It's a really well-made case, but I think they could have sold it for about 40 or 50 bucks. I mean, it's not the cat's meow, but you're paying for part of that price. You're paying for is for the Silverstone name. Now it does come with a key to lock the front, and then the front has a drop down. But most of us are just going to stick this in our, and it's got front USB 3 ports, the 5 1/4 inch drive bay, etc., and front panel indicators and power button and USB 2 ports, and also 3.5mm audio jacks. But most of us are just going to we're going to set this thing in our rack or in our home theater setup, and we're just, we're going to forget it. But it's a nice case, but it's not $100 nice, and I'll just leave it at that. And there you can see there's the power indicator or the power button. And that's pretty much it. A case is a case, right? All right, so I've got all the parts in the machine now. So for all intents and purposes, it is built. Now, this is the motherboard I went with. I have used this motherboard in several different projects, the Gigabyte H97N Wi-Fi, and I'm running an Intel i5 CPU on here. I think it's a 3470. I don't use Wi-Fi, not for my home theater system, so there was a Wi-Fi board in this computer. I took it out months and months and months, or over a year ago. It does have dual NICs in here too. It has Intel, and it has a Realtek NIC card. I originally bought this board to build a Hackintosh out of, but this is a really stellar board. Now, you're going to notice something. This build does not have a video card of any kind in here. Now, I've also used this board in my Exponology unit. This was the one that ran at my Exponology unit for about a year. It only has 8 gig of RAM, but it's got 6 SATA ports on it, which I don't need. I only need one. But it has built-in video. The Intel Intel QuickSync video on the CPU. So I got everything in here, and you can see my lovely cable management skills here. They're not actually lovely, but they get the job done. And this is an Antec 450 watt power supply. It's more than adequate for what I'm going to be doing. Now, I'm debating on whether or not to put a Blu-ray drive in here. Most of my Blu-rays are ripped and my DVDs are ripped, so really the idea of having a DVD or a Blu-ray player in here, even though I can do it, I just don't really see a need. I can't justify it. Now, this particular case has a cross-member support in there to keep it from doing this, from twisting when you put it together, because frankly the metal on here is pretty cheap, but it's a nice case. Now, in here I have a Samsung Evo 250 megabyte or gigabyte Evo drive, and like I said, 8 gig of RAM. And basically, the reason I'm building a home theater PC is because I use Rokus around the house. Now, the next best thing is an Nvidia Shield. I have an Nvidia Shield here in my office, and I use that to run my projector, and that works really well. But I watch a lot of alt tech. I watch stuff on BitChute. I watch stuff on Odyssey, and they don't have native apps yet for the television. And when I watch shows like that, I like to watch them on my TV in my living room. Now, the other thing I can do with this is I can also do game emulation on here. So the Raspberry Pi that I built, or the Jerry and I built over a year ago, I could put an emulator on here and that could emulate all those games. So I've been experimenting with a couple of different remotes, and I've got another one coming in later today. A wireless keyboard from Logitech, which will probably be my mainstay because I like having a keyboard so I can type stuff in. But I also picked up this Air Mouse Z10, and I tell you, I'm pretty well impressed with this thing. It works really well. It's a gyro mouse, and you know, it's got buttons on the front for your power, your navigation, your volume, a home button. It's a lit up keyboard as well. And then the lovely thing is you flip this sucker around and you get a full QWERTY keyboard and a trackpad. This thing was $20. I'll put links in the notes down below, along with the Logitech. I'm getting a Logitech, I think it's a 410 Plus wireless keyboard. And this comes with the batteries. It came with a dongle to put in the back. Or actually, this runs on this here 2032 batteries. No, I'm sorry. This unit is rechargeable. So I can plug it into anything via USB and it recharges. And it claims to have a pretty good distance on it. Now, once I put it in the living room and start using it, that will be the deciding factor of whether I like that or not. So, I got a used motherboard in here. I've got, a Samsung Evo hard drive. The case was the most expensive part of all this. This case is $109, Silverstone. And it'll take the mini ITX or micro ATX motherboard I'd have in here, but it'll also take a mini ITX. So I could put a little bit larger motherboard in here later if I decide to change it out. And it's going to look really great in my home theater setup. Well, I don't really have a home theater setup, but my audio video setup in my living room, and I'll show you that once I put it in place. So I'm going to put it all back together. Once the keyboard comes in, I'm going to get paired with the keyboard, and then on a day when the spouse is at work, I'm going to actually turn us all on and start playing with it and seeing how easy it is to use. And the main thing is I want to be able to have a functional web browser, so I could use Edge, or I could use Chrome, or I can use Firefox, whatever I want to. And I won't be putting Word documents together or anything like that on this machine, but I do want to be able to use it as an actual home theater PC and get the use out of it. So there you go. Alright, so there we go. The cover's back on. Now, I'm going to come over here to the other side of the room, and the first thing I want to tell you is at idle. Now this thing's not asleep, it's at idle, so there's no apps running. It's consuming about 25 watts of power. So, and when I'm watching a video on it, it gets up to about 35 or 40 watts. So what I'd like to do is to be very quiet, and I'm going to take some sound measurements. So there you go. Next to the machine, I'm getting about 45 decibels. Yeah, not anything over about 45 decibels. 43. So let's just go with that, 42.3 decibels in sound. So it's not even very loud. You won't, in the living room, I won't even hear this darn thing when it's running. Now, one little problem I have is there is a little divot right here. It got a little banged up, I guess, during manufacturer ship, because there's no damage on the box during shipping, but there is a little dip here, but nobody's going to see that. But yeah, so there you go. It's built with the H97N Wi-Fi. You know how I love gigabyte motherboards. It's running great, and it will get ready to go into the media, or to the living room media counter, or media center, and we'll put it to good use. So there you go. The machine is built. I did spend a little bit of money on the case to get it into a nice looking case. I didn't find a need to put a DVD or a Blu-ray disc reader in there because I rip them here at my central machine, put them onto my server, and then serve it out. And I put, just the basic Windows 10 on there, and I've got Google Chrome on there as a browser, and I've got the Plex app for Windows on there, that kind of thing. And I'm using it in my living room. Now, the beauty of that H97 board was I just plugged everything into the HDMI, plugged my network line in there. I got I'll show you the keyboard I got. It's a nice keyboard I got from Logitech. It's a wireless keyboard with a trackpad on there. Now, even though I'm not a fan of trackpads on laptops, I am a fan of trackpads. This little Logitech keyboard, I just fell in love with that. It's worked out really well for me. Now, this has been a long time coming. I built this server months ago. I put it in the living room, and then a month after that, I bought the keyboard, and I got a couple of remotes, and I've been playing around with it. But here this last month, the month of December, I have really been using the heck out of this thing at night because it allows me to get out of my office and go into the living room where I have my recliner. You'll see on a video I'm about to show you, and just relax and use the PC with all of its power. There's still some uses I have for the Roku. I still use it for the majority of viewing I do. But I'm not a big TV or even a movie watcher. I watch a movie with the spouse, and I'll watch TV like, Big Bang Theory and Eureka. And I've got a couple of shows that we really like to watch and share together. But I don't sit in front of the TV watching TV. I sit in front of the TV doing things on the internet. And man, let me tell you, since I've started using this home theater PC, I didn't really think I was going to use it that much, but I've been using the heck out of it. And I love it. So let's go see me using it in action. And we'll come back and talk some more. So yeah, there I am, kicked back in my recliner, just using the heck out of that home theater PC. And now I want to put one in the bedroom. We'll see if the spouse allows me to do it. So here's the keyboard that I got. It's the Logitech K400 Plus Wireless Touch TV. Very, very affordable, $24.99. The only complaint I have is it's not backlit. I could have got a backlit keyboard, but the reviews on this keyboard were so good. You see, it gets about 4.5 out of 5 stars out of 18, almost 18,000 reviews. It's a nice little keyboard. It fits comfortably in my lap. Takes a couple of AA batteries, and they claim the the battery life on these on this is excellent. I sit anywhere from 10 to 15 foot from the TV with this, and I have no trouble at all. The trackpad is very responsive. I haven't had any trouble with it at all. Now it says it has a 33-foot wireless range. We'll see. It comes with a little dongle. I like the fact that I can turn the volume up and down. I have a mute key. Let's see if you can see it right here. Yeah, it's very easy to use. Like I say, the only complaint I have is that the keyboard is not backlit. And then here is the case that I bought. This is the Silverstone, and I did pay $102.60 for this. Again, anytime you buy anything that says home theater PC, you're going to pay a premium. You saw me assemble this with the unit in it, and it also comes with an air shield, your owner's manual, some zip ties, keys, and some standoffs, etc. But you know, you get what you pay for. If it's going to be an appliance, it's going to be in your home theater rack in the living room. You want it to look nice so that you don't get yelled at by your spouse. And but there you go, $102.60. And if I could have found one a little bit cheaper, you know me, I would have. Now the other thing I purchased, which cost as much as the keyboard did, and I'm not quite sure whether I'm happy with this purchase or not, is the ZYF Z10 Air Mouse Remote, 2.4 gig backlit voice remote control with wireless keyboard. Yeah, I could go on, but you can read it for yourself. So one side you have a remote, and the other side you have a keyboard. So you just flip it over. It's a gyro mouse, so you can hold it in the air and use it, and it's got all the buttons you need on the front except for play and pause. Well, yeah, you notice it doesn't have a play or a pause button on the front of it, or a fast forward or rewind. So, but you can use the OK and the directional buttons to kind of use it, and then on the other side you have the keyboard if you know, for you thumb typists out there. I'm not going to do a review on this in this video, but just suffice it to say I will be doing a separate video on this, on how it works and if I like it or not, and once I have a chance to use all the features. But to be honest with you, I'm more using the Logitech keyboard, wireless keyboard, than I am that mouse right now, so keep that in mind. So we hope you have found the video entertaining and informative as always. Please give us a thumbs up down below if you liked the video. Leave your comments in the comment section. What do you think? Do you have any use for a home theater PC? I know I do. I'm glad I did it, as I've said repeatedly throughout this video. Donate if you're so inclined. We take PayPal, we take Patreon, and we have the YouTube join function as well. So if that's your thing, do it for $2 a month. Recurring, you help support this channel and help us get new products in here to review and do talk about with you. So there you go. Come back and see us again, and please don't forget that we will see you on the other side.